Hello, welcome to the Mark Attwood Show. Sorry. I was trying to do a freeze frame. I'm not bothering with introductions. It's Lewis Herms.
That was a great way to start.
I like doing that. It's fun. How are you, Mr. Lewis Herms?
I'm good. Just preparing for this Unity tour thing, and there's a lot going on in the world. Also, it's crazy stuff that we can talk about. It's just,
is that?
I think, yeah, I know. I've noticed, right?
I have no idea. What's going on?
Well, obviously, you've heard of the deal with them taking in France, taking the Telegram guy. Now he's arrested, and he's I believe he's out on bail though. I believe he made his bail, but he's still restricted to France. And then you have the United Arab Emirates are saying, okay, we're pulling back billions of dollars from France. Russia is saying you can't have him, which is interesting. And now Brazil just gave Elon Musk 24 hours to show up at their doorstep or they're taking down X.
In France?
No, Brazil. That's Brazil.
Oh, yeah. No, I had France in my... Well, none of this surprised me. It's all part of me. I mean, when you said France, I had to go and look somebody up because in about a week, we're running a course here in town on this Pain Genie device. And there's a guy coming over, hopefully from the UK, called David Noakes. David Noakes was famously put into a French prison about 10 years ago because he'd cured 7,000 people of cancer using a thing called GC-math. And they put him in, I think they put him in solitary confinement for 2 years. And
how dare you cure people?
France is great for this. Hey, you got a problem? Ring France. Hey, there's a guy coming over. You put him in prison. We'll sort it out later. I mean,
exactly.
You got any spare prison place? Je voudrais une prison place. Unbelievable.
It is crazy. It is crazy. Well, I think that just tells us we're that much closer to the end. And I don't mean like mathematically, we're always closer to the end. I get that. But clearly it feels like the timeline has been pushed up greatly as soon as Trump got part of his ear shot off.
Well, let me ask you about that, because a lot of people are saying, well, part of his ear was shot off, but a few days later, there was no problem with his ear whatsoever.
Yeah, so it was, well, okay, so I've actually have a huge issue with my ear right here, but I had it cut out, right? But I think he got a graze, because if you get the top of your ear hit anyways, blood will flow like crazy. The reason why I hesitate to say it was fake is because, great example. So we just had somebody on our show yesterday. She's a sweetheart. Her name's Renee, and she was literally the person sitting between Vincent Fusca and the guy with the floppy hat. She was there
because Vincent didn't move a muscle.
Yeah, that was the weird, wasn't it?
He didn't move.
No, he's just like, it's almost like he knew or something was going on, or he was just confused, like, what's going on here? I don't understand. It was very odd. That was the oddest thing when I first saw the video, was Vincent Fusca for sure. She saw the guy that died being carried out. So I had this theory, and I put it on, and it really went viral, because the only thing that can explain things to me are it's partly a show and partly real, kind of like everything that we're seeing right now.
I agree.
And the reason why I believe this is because I had a phone call with 107 4 years ago, and he said to me, we're dealing with better than quantum computers that run millions and millions and millions of scenarios and to detect where we go. And it didn't resonate with me. And I said, well, I don't like that. I go, that means you're having computers making decisions for you. I said, this movement's all about sovereignty, and you're telling me that we're relying on computers to make our decisions. He goes, well, it's a little bit deeper than that. So I started thinking about it, and I go, it hit me. And I said, you know what it is? They're hooking this better than quantum computer up to Project Looking Glass.
Yeah.
And then they're looking in to the future, and then they're making their decisions based on what they already see. If that's the case, I'm cool with that because they're already seeing something. So I believe they could have ran these millions of scenarios where probably Trump was killed in the millions of scenarios that they ran. And this one scenario, if he turns his head just right, it does that. And unfortunately, they have one person killed, but maybe all the other scenarios could have been 30, 20, 50 people killed. You don't know.
Well, they showed us in the Avengers movie.
I don't remember.
Doctor Strange was there levitating, going, and it was like 14 million scenarios of how they could win.
Oh, that's right.
There was only one scenario, and it wasn't good. It was very nasty. But this is also why I keep getting the white hats are in control of everything. Always have, against the odds, because these bad things have to happen at the same time. But also, I was showing my daughter the Joe M film about the plan to save the world earlier, because she's gone from being woke to awake, and I was like, I think you're ready to see this. And the thing that hit me in that was there were loads of assassination attempts on Trump while he was in office.
Mm-hmm.
None of which were shown to the public, none of which were told about. And I believe that 100%. There's no way they wouldn't have tried to take him out before now. But this one happened to have the circumstances that, I mean, God bless that man and his family that passed on. Awful. But we got this scenario where, like the RFK joining up, this scenario where this shift happens in this direction, which is bringing lots more people ready for the level of consciousness that they need to have to get to the point where they're ready for the information, so that they don't have a heart attack when they find out.
Right. And I think that could be true. And I believe it's still a war, though, because, like, as you know, I went down to the border.
Yeah.
And there's real people coming across the border. They're not all military guys. They're women, they're children. I'm getting reports daily of people being raped, pedophiles that are being captured. So there's still something actively going on. And I think the problem that people have, I've noticed, and tell me if you see the same thing, is they can't wrap their head around that there can be two things going on at once. They're stuck in the Freemason black and white thinking. It's got to be all white hat. Everything's run by the white hats, or it's got to be all black hats. And the reality is we're still in a war. So the white hats are in control like it's a chessboard, right? But there's still moves to be made. They already may know what they're going to do in the future, but there's active moves to be made. And there's kinetic things going on too. I think we're going to find out, unfortunately, that we lost a lot of good military people during this, but they're having probably their families, is what I suspect, are signing NDA saying that they can't talk about the loss of their loved one right now, because that would raise red flags. So this is incredibly interesting. It's clearly, though, there's good guys running things, and here's how you know. I mean, we just need to use common sense. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are clearly the worst two possible candidates.
It's hilarious
on the face of the earth. They couldn't get any candidates that are worse than that. That's very, very, very clear.
Yeah.
And then you have the fact that RFK joins them right when the DNC convention ends.
Yeah.
And then, as I actually predicted, Tulsi Gabbard joins them next, which she did. Yeah. Right. And I think you may see a Joe Manchin and a Kirsten Sinema. And I believe what's going to happen, and this is going to be the big one, and this is what people don't, in our movement, we don't care about this next category I'm going to talk about. In fact, we despise them, but they make a very, very huge impact, and that's celebrities on the normies.
Yeah.
So I know when this starts happening, I go, oh, screw that person and screw that person and screw that. But you know what? It's for the normies, because the normies will go, oh my God.
That's very important.
You know what I mean?
That's why they've kept so many alive, or appear to keep them alive.
So I believe that's probably our next phase in this. But tell me what you think, because I'm very positive, but I don't see anything. If there's even an election November 5th, right? But if there's an election November 5th, I don't see a glorious time for a while, because either way, I see the baddies burning down things in the streets. If they win, they're going to have that fake celebration that they have, and they'll riot and destroy everything, right? If they lose, they're going to riot and destroy everything. A lot of people don't remember that right before the inauguration of President Trump in 2017, January 17th, by the way, 1717, right?
Mhm. It was
They
1717 when we started this show, just pointing that out to the viewers.
well, there
It was
is
supposed to be 1700,
it's
but
symbiosis. Yep, symbiosis. It's always there, which is
yeah,
beautiful and it's
it is.
divine. So there is a huge riots across the United States in January 2017, right? Based on the fact he's going to get inaugurated. That's a weeding out process, I believe. So I believe we will see that, and it's unfortunate, and people should be prepared for that. But I believe it's a weeding out process, because if we're going to reach the golden age, which I believe we're heading into, I think we're
Mhm.
in what I call the transition to greatness right now. But if we're going to reach the golden age, we have to go through some trials and tribulations. What's your thought?
100%. In the last 3 or 4 weeks, especially energetically, demonically, it's been nuts here with people that are close to me, going through all sorts of stuff, real things coming to the surface. And the attacks have intensified in many ways. Like both my daughters got spiked in the last 4 or 5 weeks. Spiked is like date rape drugs, and these are 16 and 17 years old.
Wow.
I know what that was, right? Last night, for example, we've got a healing center here in Ireland, and I got a message because there's this demon that lives near us who was putting up stuff like, where is it? Attwood is a neo-Nazi and his quack business in Boyle uses a disgusting front that exploits sick and vulnerable people. Fucking disgusting stuff. Because we're posting stuff about healing people on Facebook.
Yeah.
And that's not all. Then starts posting all this stuff from a Facebook page that's an impersonator of me that I didn't even post. Which is hilarious. So thank God my Telegram audience helped get that Facebook page taken. But I had a look into Facebook. I've not been on Facebook for 2 years, and there's 2 or 3 accounts, Mark Attwood, one with 5,000 followers, one with 3,500 followers. I'm like, shit, I didn't realize, So I've asked people to go and find those. If you're watching this and you're going to go and help me out, the one with 10,000 followers, that is my account. Don't delete that. I may get back in. I may need it in the future. But thanks to everybody that helped me do that. Energetically, yesterday was a huge upgrade that a lot of us went through. We are ascending. That's what's happening. And as we're going there, what I'm getting is a lot of demons have been taken out, but there's still a few left, and it's usually the lower level ones. So I did a show yesterday with a guy that I admire a lot in Ireland, he brought up a very interesting point about immigration. The mass forced immigration that's going on is bringing in different types of entities to different territories where they're not used to them. So, for example, the jinn are associated with Muslims, generally speaking. And he said they're flooding into Ireland. The jinn are flooding into Ireland. And I thought that was very interesting because we don't have the tools generally to cope with that kind of thing. We have our own. The Irish have their own spiritual creed. And he said the same thing when the Irish went to America. They took the banshees with them. They took all these, other creatures with leprechauns and things like that with them. I might have it wrong on the leprechauns front if you're watching this, but the on a spiritual level, it's extremely interesting. And a lot of stuff that I've been doing recently is about exorcisms, fights in the lower fourth density, which I actually think we're going through, which is why we're seeing so much of them. And I think really that's what Q was talking about when you have to show people. You've got to show, but you can't just tell them. You can't wake them up. They're not interested in facts. But if they see it themselves, suddenly they're awake. And what I'm seeing is far more people, anecdotally, waking up, especially running the healing center, because I'm seeing people triple jabbed, really ill, understanding what caused the problem. But no, they're not angry about it yet. So there's another level to it. There's constantly another level. And being at the head of, being close to the front of the curve is frustrating because we feels like we've been waiting for years. But I'm still an apocalyptimist. The outcome is going to be phenomenal, but it is going to be messy and painful on the way out.
So you believe that we're going to show them everything is a spiritual thing? That's interesting. Yeah, that's fascinating. So it's not just we're gonna show them what these evildoers are doing. We're actually going to show them the demons and the spell casting and all the crazy stuff that we're doing. Is that what you
Well,
believe?
they're already seeing it. I mean, look at the Satanic Olympics.
But they're not recognizing it, right?
No, but some are.
Right.
So I've got kids in the back of the car talking about the Olympics and talking about singers and running satanic rituals. And these are 15, 16-year-old kids. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. They're much more aware of it. They don't necessarily fully understand it, but they're becoming aware of it. The pride marches that we're seeing all over the world, men with their dangly bits, like at the Olympic ceremony in Paris,
Yep.
in dog masks and all of this kind of S&M stuff. Pride is an actual demon. That's what they're celebrating, is the demon called pride. Pride is the 7 deadly sins are all demons. Mm-hmm. And funnily enough, I was interviewing somebody the other day that said lust, the demon lust, is a bit pissed off because they've got no work at the moment, because lust was created to break up marriages. But because of Tinder and porn, they're kind of out of work. And this other demon's taken all the stuff. And they get all this loose, and they're doing backhanders to the demons above them, because there's a whole structure to the demonic world that people don't realize. That's a pyramidical structure. Lucifer's at the top of it, taking all the loose, and on top of him is an ancient AI. And I think that's related to Sophia. But I think I'm seeing it, but it's kind of like still looks like normal world 3D, but it plays out in a way where you are seeing the behaviors of people. So to the point where the penny drops, because for me, what I've always got is that it's all run on consciousness. And I said to my daughter earlier, I said, every single thing is recorded, everything. They know exactly where you are at every point. So I think this relates to the quantum computer that you were talking about, because I was going to say in the middle of that, but I didn't want to interrupt you. We are quantum computers. We are.
Yeah, personally. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. But they still haven't figured out our brain yet. They don't understand how it could run so many scenarios at one time, and the way the impulses go through there. So yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely. I think it's interesting though, is I've not resonated with all the words 3D, 4D, 5D, but I understand in order to explain it, it makes
it's a label. It's a
exactly.
label. Yeah,
exactly. So it makes a lot of sense in regards to that, for sure. I'm going to step back a second, because I agree with you. And lately we've been seeing a lot of demonic type attacks, and everything seems to be spell casting right now, which tells me that they are desperate, because
it's lower level. That's what I meant. The lower level demons are the ones that are like legit. They're the lower level ones.
They used to just send out people to assassinate other people and physically do harm and disrupt them. I don't think they have the resources to do that anymore. So it's like, yeah, calling all demons, all spellcasters, go get this guy. It's crazy. But the good news is, if people can figure it out, we can defend against that easy. It's very easy to defend yourself against the demons and the spellcasters if you're aware of what to do.
Well, that's why me and Abby wrote this book. That's what it's about.
Yep.
But yeah, I agree, and I'm not worried at all. And what I say to everybody is, just remember, you're an eternal spirit having a human experience. So if you can stay in that thought, then you get to 0 point. When you're at 0 point, you have no fear. When you have no fear, they're drawing nothing from you. Mm-hmm. And when they're drawing nothing from you, they are losing and diminishing their power massively. And the more amount of people get to the point where they're like, fuck this, I've had enough. Fear disappears when you get to that point. That's why we're being seen this. I mean, you've got Kamala and Tampon Tim. We've got Steer Kwame. I mean, he's a fucking nightmare of a prime minister. Makes all the others look like teddy bears. Got to be white hat. Has to be. Unbelievable. I mean, the guy's a complete communist. And he's the guy that let off Jimmy Savile. If it wasn't for him, Jimmy Savile might have been tried and put in prison if we had a half decent human being in charge of public prosecutions when he was still alive.
Public evidence on Savile was crazy. It's just amazing that he could even ever walk free.
No, dude, he even put it in his own books.
Yeah, there's more evidence. Now, I'm not saying he did more than Epstein, but there was more evidence, direct evidence in the public purview on Seville.
He was so protected that he didn't care. I mean, he was on TV doing interviews talking about taking kids to Buckingham Palace, bypassing security, walking in with a 12-year-old, to taking them to the Duke of Edinburgh. You know, he was on Parkinson in 1973, and he brought out a biography talking about picking up young girls then.
Amazing.
But we didn't. We were so lost in the black magic, we didn't see it. And if people did see it, and this is what I've learned over the years, even if a victim did stand up and say this guy did this, their parents would slap them around the face and lock them in the room, and that would be the end of that for the next 50 years. You know, nobody would pay. It happened to my own dad. He got abused by the local priest, vicar, whatever, who set up a cult that grew up around me. This is why I think I was put there to see all this as a kid. And I said to his dad, my nan, when she was older, he died 30 years ago. I said, why didn't you tell anybody? And she just looked at me and said, oh, we were scared because of his position and authority. And that's the whole thing that's crumbling, that has to crumble, which is why celebrities, you know, when you mentioned celebrities, I was like, this is really interesting, because if you think about it, really, the celebrities in our world are the gods. The deities that they've created. They've actually got more power than any politician in the minds and hearts of the general public.
Right. I label them as high priests and priestesses is how I label celebrities, because I think they have that much power where they literally, and when I watch or listen to them, they're spellcasting all the time. It's constant. And I can't believe I'm saying this if I look back 4 years ago, but it's just so clear to me now, is the way they speak, their intonations in their voice, the way they look at you. They always have this amazing charisma, but you hear, if you can get a little bit of inside information, as soon as they step off of that stage, and that stage is the world wherever the cameras are, then they're total jerks and they mistreat people and so on and so forth. But people buy into this charismatic deal. It's really crazy. But they have a lot of influence, and I think we have to understand, if we're in this movement, we don't know everything, but we know so much that we tend to get frustrated with those that don't. And I think we still have to take a deep breath and give them love, because all it really means is the mass MK Ultra was more effective on them than it was on you.
Well, that's what we'd like to think. And yeah, we've got to have compassion, 100%, and patience. I mean, if this has not taught us anything, it's patience and resilience. And I just think we've got stronger and stronger, and weeds have been weeded out as we've gone along. But yeah, it's all going to be good, and we've just got to enjoy each day and do positive things, which is what you're doing with the Unity Tour. Let's talk about that, because this is a short show, and the whole point of it was to tell people about this, because Lewis Herms, ladies and gentlemen, is doing how many shows a day are you doing this time?
I don't know, 50 in 33 days.
Jesus Christ.
You're the master of segues.
I am good. You saw I did that.
Yeah.
Yes, segues.
The way this is laid out is pretty cool. I think you would love it, actually. It's right in your wheelhouse. So it's the Unity Tour. I'm going to tell the story, because I think it's fascinating if you get messages from God. And so what happens is, you and many people are aware that after the 77th Unity Tour in Nashville, Tennessee, I said, I am done. I said, never again. Maybe we'll do an event here once a year or something like that.
You said 77th Unity Tour. You mean Truth Tour?
True Tour. Thank you very much. Thank you for correcting this tired old man. So 77 Truth Tours, right? I said, I'm done. I'm completely done. Well, I guess I am done with the Truth Tours, because now we're
I breathed a big sigh of relief when he said that. I thought he's never going to ask me back again. Brilliant.
Exactly. So what happened is, I noticed there was a lot of division inside of our Patriot movement.
Yeah.
And if you look at the deep state Democrats, there's zero division in their movement. They're lockstep, because they're all they're following, or they're lemmings in a way.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons why I believe we have division in the Patriot movement, because we all claim our sovereignty and we're very independent thinkers.
Yeah.
That's the positive thing. The negative thing is when we need to get together, we don't, because their egos get in the way and all this other stuff. If you don't do it my way, it's not the right way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
So I started the Unity Project and started doing some things through the Unity Project, and then asked Joe Rosati to write a song. We've been working on that. He's done a phenomenal job. And then I said, okay, God, what else can I do? And I hear, take it to the streets. And I'm thinking of that song, right? Take it to the streets. And I'm like, what? So I really believe my response was something like, dude, what? You know, because I mean, if that's what I'll do sometimes, if I get some interesting messages from God, I do go for it right away. But sometimes I go, okay, I don't understand. So, and I go, okay, let's do it. First thing I said, oh Lord Almighty, I have to get my wife to approve this, just so you're aware of this, because I promised her no more. But anyways, I said, so how many? I said 50. 50. I go, wow, that's going to take months. Are you kidding me? I'm going to be on the road for months. 50. Okay, maybe I get to come home. Blah, 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 blah. All right, how fast? In a month. What? So I started mapping it out, and it turned out that we could legitimately do 50 because we have stops. We have our buddy Kevin Pasco. We're going to be at his wedding. You know, we have other things that we're going to do in between. So it turned out to be 33 days. And at that moment, it hit me so hard, and the hairs stood up on my body. And I go, this is divine, because I preach we have to take back our numbers. We're not giving those demons any inch, no wiggle rooms whatsoever. So I go, this is perfect. And then I said, okay, let me call and see if I can get some of this subsidized, right, or all of it. So then I got a phenomenal sponsor for this, and then I finally built up the courage to talk to my wife. She already had her chancla out. No, I'm joking. That would be her shoe. She already had her shoe out. But I said, and to my surprise, she didn't give me much pushback, right? Because I told her I'm never going to do this again. You know, it's really, really hard on the family. It's extraordinarily hard on our finances. You know, we take it in the shorts on these things. This is not a profit center for us, what in the least bit. But she said, okay. So we started mapping it out, and it's everything's just really falling into place. We're going to have a huge financial shortfall, but I'm sure we'll make that up on the tour and in donations or whatever. But it's free for everybody. There's not one event that we're charging for. Every single event is free. And what I'm most excited about is the way we laid them out. And this is what I wanted to tell you about. Is so some events are going to be as short as 2 hours, some will be 3, some will be 5 hours, you know, because we have to put multiple in them, and we only have so much time between stops. So what we did is I figured there's 4 pillars that everybody can get around. So I say united to eliminate New World control, illegal immigration, trafficking, and I mean all of it, and election manipulation. There should be no truther out there that can't say, oh, I agree with all 4 of those, or you're not really in our movement. You're like controlled opposition, right?
Hang on, I just spotted something. You should have changed that last one from election manipulation to huge election manipulation. Then you'd have got unity.
Right. But if I had to say it twice, then. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Change it to huge election manipulation.
Huge.
Well, marketing Mark, you're behind about 45 days. So I should have called you. So what happens is when we get up, we've developed a system between myself, Bruce, Robert, and Andrew, and there's only going to be 3 of us traveling at a time. Now, it looks like we're going to have convoys, which is really, really cool, and other people, but the main crew is just 3 of us, Bruce Poppy, myself, and a gentleman named Andrew. Great guy. So what happens is right when we get up, we have a 15-minute setup. We're playing music immediately.
15-minute setup, Lewis.
15-minute. Yep.
Come on.
Nope. We're going to have everything's pre-boxed, literally carried out, plug in a couple things, ready to go.
I've heard you say all this before.
Well, yeah, but I had a lot more going on before. Like there will be no video. There will be no no displaying of all this pomp and circumstance. None of that is going to happen. Literally, we pop up 2 banners. Bruce's box audio is already set up. We have the video already set up. We plug in like 3 wires, and that's it.
Okay.
So, excuse me. Hold on.
Yeah, some kombucha.
So what happens is they're testing it this week. We're going to do a huge test. I'm flying into close to our first location on the 1st, and we're going to test it on the 1st and the 2nd. So I'm sure it's going to work out great. We're very confident in it. We've got much better high-end equipment too, so everything links a lot better. So the cool thing is, so when that goes on, the music is going on, and then immediately when we start, we're going to have whoever's in the local area that wants to sing a patriotic song come up, sing a patriotic song, which I think is going to just be a beautiful thing to every event. And then after that, we'll go into a quick prayer, cover us with the divine protection. And then we'll go into those four pillars. Some speakers may talk about those. If not, then we go bring the speakers up. And we have over 100 speakers that are already committing. We just don't know which one they're going to show up at, which is the part of the fun of it, I think, right? And some of them will be at several of them. And there's some of them are already announcing, I'm going to be at this one, I'm going to be at that one. That's great. And then after that, we're going to go, then I'll come up and speak. And then I'm going to go through our Freedom in Action plan, which I'm so excited about, which literally is boots on the ground. How can you make a difference within your community? That site's being built right now. It is absolutely gorgeous what we're doing in regards to that. We're going to give them things they can do, because I don't know what to do. It doesn't matter if you can't leave your house. We're going to show you something that you can do. So it's a nice, beautiful game plan. And then our app that I've been working on for a year is finally coming out, which is amazing. And people, they can geo-target an area, find other patriots, hook up with them. Any events that are going on in any area in the country, they can find. But there's an element of it that's really fun. And myself and Dr. Doug Frank, I mentioned this to him, so he's going to try to help me with this or give me some advice. Part of the app, I noticed that we can put videos on there, timestamp, and they're geo-targeted to a certain area. So now I'm recommending anybody that's going to the elections, you find an issue, you report it immediately. And now we have a time stack record that literally can be used in a court case,
as evidence,
all over the country, right? And it'll you say, here's your just put your precinct number in, say, here's what I found. It's a video, it's an audio, or it's just a description of what you're seeing. That's all becomes evidence, but it's real time, which is huge. And then at the end of that, we're going to close out, and then we're going to play a song I've asked Joe Rosati to put together. I'm working on the music video this week called To Unite. And it's just a gorgeous song. It has multiple singers in it, and it will absolutely blow people away. It's just amazing. And then we're going to play some more music while we're packing up, and we're gone to the next one. So there's sometimes we'll do 1, 2, or even 3 in a day. I'm already out of breath just thinking about it, but it's gonna work.
I'm out of breath thinking about it because I know what it's like. There are only 15-hour drives in a 12-hour day going on this time.
We have one super long drive, and that's a day off that we're taking. And as Bruce would say, is it really a day off?
Really a day off? No, it's not. No, it's not. I was driving the other day on a big drive. It was about 6 hours, and I was like, oh, Truth Tour 2. This is nothing. What am I going on about? This is easy. Easy. I've done this before. Derek Johnson fast asleep in the back of the car. So funny. Oh man, well that's amazing. And it's unitytour.us for people who want to come.
Yeah, first stop Jacksonville. Yeah, unitytour.us, Jacksonville. Then what do we have? Alabama, and then I believe we're in Mississippi after that. I think. Who knows?
You don't have to memorize it. Jackson, Mississippi, Lake Charles, College Station, Texas, Plano, Texas, Lubbock, as Janine called it.
The plaintiff and what we're doing, we're asking everybody to pre-register. So there will be some places that'll be light. Who knows? We may only have 15 people at, and then some places, it looks like some will even be over 500-600 by the time we get there. Like Tampa looks like that's going to be a huge one.
Well, that's the one I'm thinking of flying over for.
I wish you would. That's going to be the grand finale, and there'll be a party afterwards also.
Yeah, well, Tampa's got a soft spot in my heart, and the kids Florida's top of the list, and I want to bring some kids. But anyway, we'll see what happens. I'll do my best. That's interesting. I just pulled this up because I wrote a poem called Unity a few years ago. This is a poem written by a neo-Nazi, apparently. Look.
Oh yeah, with that a white, brown and black hands.
Yeah, that's it. I'm a real neo-Nazi.
Well, they always project, don't they?
Oh, well, they call you what they are. That's the funny thing, because
exactly
what she's doing to me is exactly the same as what Keir Starmer's doing to everybody in the UK.
Yeah.
You know, it's literally people being arrested for saying, we don't like your policies. Arrest him. Sorry, arrest him too. It's just nuts, fucking nuts. But it's working. It is waking people up, and I love the sound of this app. Can we get it to expand outside the US?
It already is. Yeah,
right.
It already is. So we're just doing the testing on it, and you'll be able to. All we have to do is change the section to postal code, and you'll be able to do it out there.
Well, that's in the UK. In Ireland, it's air code, but we need that here.
But it will work the same way.
Yeah.
So cool. Whether it's a zip code, postal code, or air code, the technology is exactly the same.
Well, yeah, we need that to be international, not just US. Otherwise, I'll just buy the software off you, adapt it, and do it here, because that's exactly what is needed over here as well. I don't know if you're watching this and you've already built one in the UK, let me know, because I don't know about it. Unification of people is key. So do you think that's let's talk a little bit. I know you've not got long, but let's talk a little bit about the divisions in the truth movement, because from my point of view, what you said is true. You've got a lot of sovereign people with their own ideas, and then you see them fighting amongst each other and then pulling on each other. And sometimes that's legitimate, and sometimes it's like, is that really a good place to put your energy? Because we're going up against interdimensional draconian fucking Satanists that murder thousands of children every day, and you're worried about this guy. I can't understand why you'd put your energy into that, because it ultimately just decredits the whole thing.
Yep.
How many of them are that just ego or whatever, or how many of them are agents? What do you think?
So I think it's all three, which is interesting. By the way, all of you are invited to the Unity tour. So let's just put that on the shelf. All of you guys are invited to the Unity tour. Just make sure we're talking about those 4 pillars, and we'll be fine. So I think it's all three. I think some of it is prideful, ego based. We have this myth in the patriot community that because we're patriots, somehow we don't have the same human emotions and deals and issues and problems that other people have, and that's not true. I mean, we've had stalkers on the tours and so on and so forth. So they're truly patriots, but there's just something going on there. So one of the challenges is you have natural human emotions, and people get hurt and so on and so forth. So they start lashing out. And then when you add ego into it, well, I got to one up you, then I'm going to one up you, and then one up you. And it just starts to explode. And then it becomes petty. So there's that. Then there's absolutely controlled opposition, all just rampant throughout our movement. And it's okay, because I say, you know what, use controlled opposition for what you can. And the stuff that you recognize, discern is not good, just throw it away. It's not a big deal. You can use them to your advantage, and it disempowers them. And then you have the ones that are doing it purely for attention. So there's one particular channel out that does this a lot. And I know this channel had X amount of followers, and they were doing good work. And then they started to talk crap about other truthers. And because people like that Jersey Shore drama bullshit, now they have 3 to 4 times the followers in less than a year. So clearly they're playing to their audience now, and they're attracting that. So again, and they tried to draw me in one time too. I just didn't take the bait, so it didn't go anywhere. So it's very, very important to understand this one thing. And this is why I get very frustrated. Where does the cabal want you? They want you divided. That's it. That's their power. So if you're in division, that's when they take over. So why do we want to even give them that opportunity? To me, it's just so much common sense. You go, oh, no, we're not going to give them that opportunity. They want that, right? But again, our selfish ways get in the way, and we start to play into the real world Jersey Shore Big Brother mentality, which is just ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, but it's all going to come out in the wash. And when we did it a couple of years ago, I remember having this chat with you, and you said, they'll just hang themselves. And I was like, yeah, I know, that's the way it is.
Yep.
But I feel like leaving the show, because you've got to get off, on reminding everybody that doesn't know that you and I did the Truth Tour 2 with you a few years ago. Should we watch my trailer again? Because I've not actually watched it in ages.
Was that you?
Yeah, it was me.
Oh,
with shorter hair.
Oh, got it.
Do you remember? Short hair, good looking guy, funny.
Show the trailer. All right, we're not live right now, are we?
No.
Because I couldn't find you.
You can say what you want.
Hello, my name is Mark. 2 years ago, I started talking on YouTube about what was really going on in the world. Little did I know that I'd end up on tour in America. Let's go.
You are actually standing in front of me.
We're in the Matrix.
It's the most exhausting thing we've ever done.
We've got well over 1,000 rounds a day.
It's 3 hours sleep's killing me, bro.
Guess we ain't in Kansas anymore. And the rain just boom.
It's quite tiring. I might just get a plane home.
Oh, man, there's crazies out there today.
It's just like flying a glider.
Someone sabotaged us.
This guy chills literally up and down.
Twinkle, twinkle, superstar.
I can't believe 53 and I'm here doing this. Incomprehensible. I'm very grateful. And I need a fag.
Yeah, that's a good memory. This is like the best road trip video diary ever. I loved it.
Yeah, it was a great trailer, by the way.
Well, do you remember? There's little memories pop, like me and you being silly in that room when we were being interviewed, and then the fucking RV break. How is Esther? Is she alive? The RV broke down every 5 minutes. And
You want the breaking news on your show?
Mm-hmm.
We're taking Esther 11,000 miles this time.
Oh my God, Bruce Poppy, you insane? Have you done her up properly?
Oh yeah. So she's completely remodeled inside.
Wow.
She's been completely painted outside. You should see the graphics. We're going to release the graphics on Monday on my show. You should see the graphics on the site are just incredible.
Are they like hang on, Bruce sent me a message and I haven't read it yet. I think he's probably sent me pictures of them. Ugh.
You probably are getting some of them. Yeah. He can't help. I'm asking him to suppress them and he can't help himself.
Oh no, he's hidden it. Oh, she looks way too smart. Way too smart. That's not Esther. That's not Esther. That's like seeing your favorite ugly girlfriend from school later on as a smart business.
Yeah,
woman.
She's had the full makeover for sure.
Fantastic. She's got a place in American history as far as I'm concerned. Right, your time's up. Amazing to speak to you. I hope to see you in the States. Fingers crossed. God bless. God willing. We'll see what happens. If people want me there, I don't know.
But, look at that false modesty.
Well, I was going to say, if I
show up, we're going to be all in tears. Mark,
if I did this for attention, I'd have got my fucking teeth done in 2019. Do you know what I mean?
That's true. I thought you were just being the cliche guy from.
I know I am.
Part of the country.
Austin Powers' teeth is fucking. Do I make you horny, baby? No, you don't. Okay, fuck off.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, well, God bless everybody that's involved in the Unity Tour and you and your family. And it's more. Can't believe we're still here doing it, but we're doing it, and you're doing a great job. And it's always great to catch up with you. And I hope to see you soon.
We will. We're going to see you there October 5th. I know it.
Yep. Thanks for watching, guys. Go to unitytour.us, sign up, go and support Lewis and the gang, and let's keep changing the world the way that we want, build the world that we want. That's what we're doing. See you later.